Hello students, so today we're going to be learning how to properly fill in your objective sheet. This is very important because if you have any mistakes on this paper, your paper may not be accepted. So please pay attention and fill in your sheet accordingly. So the first step here is to understand the layout of the objective paper. So here you have the center. This is where you're taking your test. So let's say you're taking your test at John Brown Academy. You're going to fill it in here. Please remember to write in block letters, which is just capital letters. Okay, so as you can see here, I've already filled in a lot of information. So I'm just going to walk you through. So here you have school. That's the name of the school that you're currently attending. So if you're in St. John Institute, or whichever school that you're in, this is where you're going to put that information in. So here you have the name. If your name is Rose Collins, you're going to have to put your surname first or your last name first. So if your name is John Brown, you're going to put the Brown before the John. So here is the name of the test that you're about to take. So if you're about to take WASSCE or WASSCE, you write it here and then you put the year as well. So here you have subject. If you're about to take math, English, chemistry, this is where you put it. And here you're going to put in your paper code. If you don't know where to find your paper code, this is where you find it. Here you're going to see it on your question booklet. This right here is your paper code. So here we have SC 402101. So we're going to have to write that right here. There you go. So if you're about to take a chemistry test, you write it here. Okay, please note that every information on this paper is only for educational purposes and it's not anybody's personal information. So now that the first step is done, next you're going to have to fill in your index number and your paper code. So for your index number, if you don't know where to find it, please find a nearby instructor in the hall and they'll guide you through. So here you have 31018671010. So here we're going to have to fill that in. So since the first number is 3, you look here, your first number should be 3. So this right here is the line for the first number. So you look here and then you shade in 3 to the second number. So previously, as I mentioned, your second number is 1. So you come down to the second row and then you shade in 1. Now, to fill in your next number, it's 310, right? So since your third number is 0, you're going to have to go on the third row and shade in 0. And that is just pretty much it. So you're going to have to keep shading and shading and shading until you've completed all the numbers in your index number. So if you want to put in the 4th number, you go to the 4th row. You want to put in the 5th number, you go to the 5th row. It's that simple, and you keep going until you end the process. So as for the paper code, you're going to look at this code right here that we wrote previously. So you have 402101. So since the first number here is 4, you're going to come in the first row and look for the number 4, which I have already shaded. And your second number here is 0. So you're going to come in the second row and find 0. Your third number here is 2. So you're going to come in the third row and find number 2 and shade. Okay, so now that we've understood that, you can proceed with the same thing until you've ended your paper code. So the other step here is to find your gender. So you're either male or female. So if you're female, you shade in here. If you're male, you shade in here. That step is very simple. So we come to the next step, which is just answering the questions. Okay, so to answer your questions, we are going to find our question booklet once again to be able to properly demonstrate that to you. So let's say your answer for number 1 is the letter C. Please note that these answers aren't meant to be correct. It's just meant to give you an insight about how to go about answering. So let's say you choose letter C for number 1, right? So you're going to come here to number 1 and go to the letter C, since this is what you chose as your answer. And you are going to shade in your letter C. Okay, so if you pick the letter A for number 2, you're going to have to come to number 2 here and then shade in A. And you're going to keep that up until you're done with all your questions. So when you're shading, please do not shade outside of the square. Do not fold or tear this entire paper. Avoid having random drawings anywhere or any random markings anywhere on this paper. And very importantly, do not touch this line right here. This is very important. If you do that, your answer or your entire paper is going to get rejected. So finally, when you're done with everything, all you have to do now is to counter check. Make sure everything here is spelled correctly, that you don't have any mistakes with the input. If you don't know the number of your center or your school, please ask the instructors in the hall. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. If you still have any questions, please feel free to ask any instructor in the hall. Thank you.